welcome to OQT News. I'm your host, Ethan Pierce.
And I'm your host, Madison Kelly.
And today we're going to be taking you through the history of what happened at the History Department this year. Stay tuned. This year we were blessed by the brand new secretary in the History Department, who just so happens to be the whitest person ever to have the surname Okimoto. She has worked tirelessly for the past year to give everyone cavities, teach people French, give them stronger thigh muscles, and make the History Department look as much like an elementary school classroom as possible. The winner of such decorating escapades was far and away Dr. Chris Smith, whose decorations were so magnificent they were hardly able to stay on the door for more than 24 hours. Accompanying our new secretary was her virtual army of children, who single-handedly increased the average height of the department by several inches.
Another new member of the History Department is Dr. Justin Stowe, who specializes in Batman and even child dance recital. One of the most lauded accomplishments of the department this year was to get Dr. Stowe from wearing entirely black to black with a teeny bit of purple. Sadly, however, this did not net him the responsibility and role of Best Dressed. That's awarded to Dr. Jones because of his lovely wife, Miss Rochelle. Honorable mention in this category goes to Skylar and Dr. Ed Swine for his incredible taste in headwear this year.
Members of the History Department took a trip to colonial Jamestown in September of this school year. Just like the historical colony in 1607, we lost several members, who shall remain unnamed, to illness. Those who survived were blessed with the privilege of visiting such an important landmark in American history, as well as feeling very uncomfortable next to shirtless Native American reenactors. Several students were able to participate in military exercises, such as pike blocks and artillery drills. Next time the Hokies come to Liberty, we'll be far more prepared. Their defeat will be followed by a well-rehearsed huzzah led by the one and only Dr. Samuel Smith.
New London Day, the day where public history students thrive. A day where everyone roams around the streets cosplaying either Flapper Girls or a Ghostbuster. Many thanks to Professor Donald for the many hours work it required to get this gaggle of goons to get the day to run smoothly.
Phi Alpha Theta had an eventful year this year. Their annual Operation Christmas Child extravaganza involved roughly 30 minutes of packing boxes, followed by 2 full hours of history nerds roaming around the streets looking up historical houses on Zillow. 80s Night let our members unwind and show off their best costumes, all of which were overshadowed by Dr. Jones and his eyeliner. Their annual Easter egg hunt was a resounding success, but the singular egg that eluded the students for the better part of an hour taught them one valuable lesson: do not buy camouflage eggs. Lots of exciting research was presented at the 2024 Phi Alpha Theta Regional Conference at VMI. I mean, what could be more exciting than spending your Saturday listening to students read their research papers for you?
And finally, we arrived to the last major event, the trip to our national capital, Washington, D.C. After waiting on what felt like 10,000 years, Dylan and Tom finally showed up and they hit the ground running. They managed to fit their massive bus down the notoriously narrow roads of Washington, D.C., albeit with a few wrong turns and some collateral damage. If only the driver had the geographical expertise as our very own Dr. Bradshaw to help him navigate the streets of the treacherous DC. Dr. Davis took his students to the Library of Congress to get their research cards. Their adventure through the catacombs beneath the library were almost worthy of one Nicolas Cage.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
And finally, several of our history students this year were able to present research at Harvard University. They got to tell everyone about old churches and French artists while learning all about 3D printed organs. This research was punctuated by their subarctic temperatures of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Their temperature was so cold, in fact, that even the local wildlife was having a rough time. At least Dr. Sneed did not slip and fall on the ice.
Thank you for joining us with the news of one quick thing. Now on to Nathan with the weather.
It gon' rain.
Thanks, Nathan. We'll be back with more news after the break, but until then, this has been OQT. Thank you for joining us.
Learn gaggling. After
Okay, go ahead.